book, Passionate Pursuit of Purpose. But you know the purpose at the end of the day, what it's really all about? It's about you being you, who you really feel God has called you to be. And there's an opportunity for you on a daily basis to let the world experience your brand, but will you take a stand? And it's your turn.
Hey, y'all. Welcome back to the Spark Faith Podcast. I am Dr. Chris Sargent, and yes, you have guessed it. I have a very handsome gentleman from Canada, nonetheless. Shiraz Siddique is with us today because he wants to talk about having a well done, my good and faithful servant kind of life. And what does that mean? Shiraz, welcome to the podcast. I talk about all kinds of things, and we will get around to talking about health and how we mash up faith and health and how all that works together. But tell us about yourself. You reached out to me and I just found that you have this fascinating background. And so tell us a little about you. I know you have two daughters and a wife. And
I do. And first of all, thank you. It's such a pleasure to meet another crazy person, folks. You've heard her podcast. You've heard how I think you have glimpses into her life and how you still stay afloat. And not only it's past that survival, but into that thrival place, right? And it's not, and it just comes so naturally. You have this zest and bounce. And I got to tell you, when you find somebody else that's from your tribe, because like we got energy for days with or without coffee, we're bouncing.
Oh, yes.
Let's go, go, go.
100%.
It's a pleasure to hang out with another person who's from the same tribe in heaven. Awesome to meet you. And I'm glad we're connected now. This is awesome. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, you're so welcome. It's such a pleasure. And I agree with you. Like it's so cool to have that kind of energy, and we're recording this kind of at the end of both of our work days, and we're still like, let's go. So tell me a little bit. Go ahead.
No,
Okay.
Go for it.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about your book. And so y'all have to know that the tagline on here is the passionate pursuit of purpose. And I am one girl who loves alliteration, and it's all the way through your book. And you use a lot of P's, and I love it. It totally is totally my jam. And I know that a lot of women actually around my age are like they're empty nesting for the first time, or they're about to empty nest. And they're looking at their life and going, I have no idea what I'm supposed to do.
Okay. Right. And
how did you end up doing this?
And it's not an uncommon refrain. It's not a new story. It has been happening and continues to happen unless we turn and face it. There's this sobering moment that hit me between the eyes a number of years ago when you mash up Matthew 7 and Matthew 25, and they tend to be Judgment Day scenes. And in those scenes, you have people before the throne, right? And they're like, it's about to go really well for me because I did this and I did that. One of them actually has the nerve to say, I cast out demons in your name and I did this good work and that great work. And he turns and says to them, depart from me. That freaks me out. Honestly, that scared me. And it still does, right? Speaking about it, when he says depart, the very people that are saying, Lord, Lord. Okay, so wait, full stop. That means they're Christian. That means that they are of his flock, right? Because right immediately after that, he talks about goats and sheep. So it's synergistic in Matthew 25 is specifically. And in it, wait a second, that means Christians aren't going to make the cut? Wait, you can go to church this Sunday, look to the left and to the right, and if we're honest, some people sitting in the pews around us aren't going to make the cut? That scares me. It scares me.
I don't think we talk about this. So y'all, we are going headfirst deep into the deep end, and this deep end is going to keep getting deeper. So just hold on, and we're going to have fun at the same time.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. But I think that honestly, Christians think, oh, well, I said the prayer. Isn't that it? Isn't that all I have to do? Like, I know I'm going to sin, but I said the prayer and I believe, and isn't that good enough? Isn't that enough? I thought that was all I needed to do. I mean, I'm a nice, good person, and I do the right things, and I don't I don't swear too much in traffic, and I try not to flip too many people off. And I get mad at my dog sometimes, but I think I'm a good person. Like, I thought if I prayed the prayer that was all I needed to do and be a good person. So
You know,
tell me how all that ends up where, like, oh, wait a minute. Because that's
it's
sobering.
it's really interesting because you ever cut somebody's ear off and still qualify? Like,
Yeah, right.
I think
Or
swearing is right. Like, I think swearing is the least of Jesus' worries about us. I, I, I I don't know if it's about checking all the right boxes because God is still checking hearts. And so now
y'all, that's so good. He's in our heart all the time.
right? And so now what are we going to do? Show our checklist to God. Look, I came to church on a regular basis. I gave my tithes and once in a while, even offerings. I worshiped. I was a part of the choir. And God's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Because there's a qualifier there that you just mentioned right off the top. There can be an age group, right? You're like, hey, empty nesting. And now all of a sudden, wait, what am I supposed to? Wait, it's not what we do, it's the questions that we answer when we're quiet that are going to
Mm.
determine our destinies. When nothing is around and it's quiet, and you get to just be with you and you begin to ask, wait, what really matters? Like, what am I doing that's making an eternal impact? How are people experiencing the true nature of my flavor? And do they get to experience God's presence
Mm.
through me? Wait, I'm not sure. I'm not certain. And I love when people struggle when they struggle through, not struggle in and remain. Like, and if you're asking those types of questions, it's exciting. I think God loves, like Jacob, when we wrestle with God,
Oh, totally.
right?
Absolutely.
And he loves it. But what if he gave up and said, "Nah, forget this, God. I'm not going to break through here. The sun of the light's coming up. The sun's rising. I'm going to give up." How many of us have given up on that dream, the desire before the fullness of the sunlight to hit and reveal who we really are? That's a struggle. And I hope
Woo.
people struggle with that.
Dang, y'all. I I I got nothing. Like, just keep going. But what's interesting though? You said, and I'm going to back up for just a second because I think this is where um I know women in my world struggle. And that is, you said, when you get still, when you're quiet, when it's just you, because that has to be in something that is created and is intentional. Because our life, we as moms, busy moms, moms of older children, right? You have your kids are around the same age as mine. Moms of high schoolers have three kids, all in three different sports, 7 nights a week, they're gone. When does that be still and quiet happen for them? Because they're, and they may be working full time too, and getting all the meals on the table, and particularly the single moms. Um, like, when did that be still and quiet? How do you come around to that place?
I'm hearing you. Dr. Chris, I respect what you do so much because I've struggled with my health journey over the years, and I wouldn't have come on if I wasn't prayed up a little bit, right? And uh, folks, you're listening today. God is not inviting you to your rest, He's inviting you to your struggle. He's
Yeah.
inviting you to the battle. He's saying, "Get in the ring and let's put your gloves on and let me mash out and bash out everything that has kept you back, and you go ahead and take your shots because God can handle your problems and the things that you really, God, I can't
Mm.
believe you let this happen to you." Give it to him. Get in the ring. Get in the ring with him. When Jacob was wrestling with him, do you think he did some Greco-Roman Olympic style training? Like, come on, man. So what was he wrestling? He was wrestling with his mind, thinking, what is happening? He was wrestling with his heart, thinking, why, God? And he was wrestling. And there's a physical manifestation of how his heart and his mind was wrestling. Get in the ring with God. You're not
I
satisfied
love that.
anyways. What do you have to lose? So there's an invitation today to wrestle, get in the ring, and
Get
see
in
what
there and
happens.
just see what happens. I love that. It reminds me of that Teddy Roosevelt quote, right? Like the man in the arena, right?
Yo, powerful,
He's the
right?
one. That's the one, right? The man in the arena. It's not the bystander that can say anything. It's the person in there doing the fight. So it may not be in your quiet time that that happens. It may
Right,
be between games. It may be while you're
right.
sitting there watching a baseball game in between pitches that those thoughts that you're wrestling with happen.
So there's an
That's
interesting stat that's older and it's outdated. It's from approximately 2012 when it says on a daily basis, and it has to be higher. I don't know this empirically, but it has to be higher now. In 2012, it says we're bombarded by a minimum of 1,100 marketing messages on a daily basis, the average person
oh, at
in
least.
North America. It has to be higher than that now. But in
I
2012,
would
that
think
was
so.
the number. Now, then, that's before you added the layers of baseball. That's before you added the layers of wait a second,
Facebook,
okay,
social media.
family, work, wait, the neighbors, wait, I gotta mow the lawn, wait, I gotta grocery shop, wait, life is gonna pile on you. And if you feel piled on, join the club. Like it doesn't matter. Still get in the ring, but like, we still got to do it despite of. Here's a moment that I assure you, you're going to be truly alone. And it's a mentor of mine about 30 years ago said this to me. He said, Shiraz, there's a moment where you're going to be alone and you have it every day. If you're at peace in that moment, more power to you. But if you're not,
Mm.
he said, struggle. It's the moment where you put your head on your pillow and you let out that deep exhale, like, and your head hits that pillow, right? And you could be beside your spouse, probably snoring, I don't know. But like it's that moment where you're just letting it all just kind of melt into your pillow
Go.
and it just kind of like drops off of you. It's in that moment. If you're unsettled, that's a call.
Mm.
That's a call. And that's what you got to activate. But if you're at peace and you truly feel that you're at peace and you can feel at peace on a regular basis when you put your head to bed, you're on to something. Keep doing what you do. Keep doing what you do. And good for you because we're not here. Look, Dr. Chris isn't here with me to tell you that there's a problem, there's a problem, there's a problem, there's a problem. We're also here to celebrate the goodness of God in your life and what is happening. So for those who are
Absolutely.
experiencing those nights where you put your head to bed and you're like, God, man, we did what we could today. Bless the Lord, oh my soul, and all that was in me. I gave today, and tomorrow let's try again because I didn't get to everything, but I gave it what I could. I'm going to go to sleep now. Father, you said you would give your beloved rest, and then people of God just rest. Wake up. Bless the Lord. The kings will come to the brightness of your dawn because the sun just rose, right? His mercies will be new in the morning for you to step into your skin and go do it and go for the win. Like
Preach.
go chase it down, right? Go chase it down.
Love
But
it.
if you're not settled in that moment, you
Yep.
got to
Get in
expand
the
it. Now,
ring.
it, here's the reality, Dr. Chris. Nobody has time, but are you going to take the time?
How
You have
important
to
is it, right?
right? You got
Like,
to answer a fundamental question. The fundamental question is, okay, right? A
what
fundamental
is the
question is,
end? What is the outcome? What do you want your outcome to look like?
it's all decided by what you value. But the question is, do you value you? Do you value your quality of life? Well, then hang out with Dr. Chris and figure out how to get your health where it needs to be because you value you.
Okay, but we're talking about you right now. So,
Okay.
and finding people's passionate purpose. Like, how do they find that being in the ring with God? How do you know it's God? Like,
Okay.
that's always like I know that's kind of a
No, no, it's a
that
great
might be a
question.
cliche kind of question, but how do you know? Seriously, is it me? Is it my ego? Is it what I really want? And I'm saying that it's God because that's an easy way out. Or in the quiet, still moments, because that is when I know I have to create that every morning. And my people know that I do that every morning. Um, how do you know? How do you check in to know
So
that my kids are leaving and now I'm supposed to start a new business, or I'm supposed to volunteer here or go back to my career that I had before, or how do you know that it's him?
I guess the first thing is just going back to Jacob. You're not going to have the time, so you take the time. Just take it.
Yeah, you have to
Take it,
take it.
right? Like
Yeah,
you
I
literally,
tell people you have to create it in your life.
right? The kingdom of God suffers violence, and the violent, what? They take back
Mhm.
by force. So there's a forceful act that you need to insert into the rhythm of your life. Like stick a wedge in your life and say, let me just crowbar this opening for me to get in and get through. And it's going to take a violent force for you to break into your own life and say, hey, I got to break out. But it's going to take a
Yes,
violent force. In
it
the
does.
meantime, there's this sense that have you noticed this? I don't know which one of your family members are like this, is just like really good with math and their like numbers are like really good, right?
My ex-husband.
Okay, right?
Yeah,
But then there's other people that should never delete their calculator app off their phone.
me.
Okay, right? And I think that's what God does. He gives you cues and clues as far as who
Ah,
you
yes.
are, right? Like there's things that come to me naturally, public speaking. So I'm
Same.
fortunate I get the opportunity to be on stages and in business settings. I lead business conferences for thousands of people. I have the opportunity to be in churches. I have those opportunities because it comes naturally to me. But other people are like, Shiraz, how do you do it? I feel like throwing up. I'm so nervous. That's okay. Do it once a year because you're not called to it. It's okay. But there's other people that get results. Folks, I assure you, there's something that you do and you get results a lot quicker and a lot easier than someone who struggles to get the exact same results because you
Oh,
were born for it. So,
that is gold, y'all. That is gold. What Shiraz just said to you. There are clues and cues in your life that you already know that you're good at. Now you have to be able to say that you're the shame and the guilt and all that stuff, and oh, I'm not that great and I'm not good enough and all that. We have to work on that. And you all know that you are gifted. God gifted you at your birth in a certain way, and you probably already know what those are. You've worked PTA or you haven't because you're a crazy introvert and you're great at research, or you've led the cheerleaders, or you all those things, anything that you have done, you've worked full time, but you know that there's something more out there. What are you good at? What's fun? What's passionate? Maybe you're in like a corporate job and you love to bake cookies. Like go bake some cookies. Right? Is that what you're saying? Like, because you're passionate. I think one of the questions in your book says, like, what do you get lost in? Like, or where do you lose time? Like, you're doing this thing and you just lose track of time. Is that one of
right?
the questions?
Yeah, and it's one of those things where what do you think about that keeps you up? I'm not talking about the stressful things in life because
Mm,
there's enough stressors in life, and we're not here to say that life is honky dory when you're chasing your purpose. Ask David. People are trying to kill him. He had suicidal thoughts himself, and he was a king who said and God said he was a man after his own heart, right? So let's put things
right.
in perspective. If I could rewind just a little bit, one of the most liberating verses for my entire life could have been condemning, but it set me free. It says this our best works are like filthy rags in God's sight,
Mm.
meaning, when we try to measure up the best thing that we could ever do in the presence of God's righteousness, it's equivalent to filthy rags. So I made up my mind to just give my filthy rags the best shot that I can. If I fall short, I fall short, and I'm okay falling short, knowing that I gave it my all and say, God, I'm not going to measure up anyways. What am I trying? Like, what is my measuring stick? It's you
Right.
anyways, right? And if you're going to accept me and you say, our best works are filthy rags, I'm good. And I no longer have this standard of accomplishment or achievement. And it's so liberating knowing that he's going to accept my best. But are you giving him your best? I think that's really the
Mm,
only question is, are you giving yourself your best? Look, you've given your family your best. You've given your
yeah,
kids a great amount of years and the best years, right? Like you've created memories for your parents. You've created memories for other people at work. You've hired people and you have staff who you're creating amazing, opportunities for them to be employed, right? Like, or the people that you're serving at work, your manager has made, your owners of your company made a lot of money because of you. But now, when is it going to be your turn? When are you going to matter enough to say, hey, you know what? It's not a selfish thing. It's not selfish. It's your father is saying, I also invested in you, didn't I? Thank you for investing in everyone else. If this is a season in which you need to focus on you, you're not being selfish. I just hope that you're free to pursue your health. I hope you feel free to pursue
your
your walk with
passions
God.
and your purpose.
You
Yes.
said it a lot better than I did.
No, I did not. That is so good because I'm glad y'all you hear what he's saying. It's some of the same things that I tell you all the time, but just like kids, you're gonna listen to him when you didn't listen to me. So
There
this is
is
what
this.
happens when you get a Southern girl and a Canadian together. We have two very different ways of walking into the world, let me tell you.
And I love every bit of it. Every bit of it. There's this you've touched on it a couple of times. Where does the onus and the responsibility lie for our purpose, our pursuit, and our passions? And I think we'll all know that the answer lies within you. Like,
Right.
who is responsible and accountable for you and your outcomes? You, right? I'll put it another way, and I'm not even sure if this is in the book or not in whatever chapter, but if God gave you a hill and says there's gold in that hill,
Oh, it's in there.
is it enough to know that God gave you a hill?
Mm.
Or wait, he's supposed to show up. Wait, put your shovel in the ground, get at it, and I assure you, you dig every day, you dig every day, you dig every day, you will get to it. You will fall. Oh, I want my purpose to just fall on me, just like rain. Lord, can you just reveal it? Yeah, really? Then why did he give you a brain and a heart, two hands and 2 feet for? Did he waste his time creating you fearfully? We all know that Psalms 139 is a sweet spot for Dr. Chris, right? And like we were that fearfully and wonderfully made, why did he give us our heart, our feet? Get your shovel in the ground. You want your answers? I
Gotta
want to know
dig
where your
for it.
shovel's at. Where's your shovel at? He's given you, but will you dig for that gold? I assure you, you hit it on a daily. You hit it on a daily. You stack your daily digs, man, you're gonna
That's
make progress.
exactly right. And that goes true for health, or whether you're looking for your passion, whether you're starting a new business, whatever you are doing, it's consistency. And that's exactly what you just said. It's all about consistency every day, showing up for God every morning, having that morning routine that I talk about a lot is creating that time in the morning, creating that space. You said you have to have something violent to break that open, and breaking open time in your morning for God is unbelievably rewarding on so many levels. What's your daily look like?
Not good.
Oh, that can't be true.
I'm gonna answer this question honestly, just because my rhythm's being a little just for family
You're off a
dynamics.
little bit. Yeah,
We're moving kids out and moving kids in, just with
fair.
school
We
and
all have
university.
that.
I
Yeah, we all
recently
have
took
those
on a greater
times.
commitment at work, so I'm okay being out of order right now. I'm okay because I'm fully aware of the season that I'm in, and I'm looking
Mhm.
forward to, I think by September 8th, I'll be back into my routine. But uh, if you're okay, can I switch gears a little bit?
Oh, please.
I'm
Yeah,
going to
go ahead.
rewind back to 2013. So it's about 10 years ago, maybe 2012, 2013. Um, I was leading sales organi I was I was a sales leader in a large national company, and we're doing some great things. And I was like, God, this is good. I had put down my pastoral role, and I was just focusing on this right here. And God's like, hey, now is the season, son. You're going to go back and get your master's in theology. It's like, sure, man. You want to make the time for it? I got these kids over here, right? I got these kids over here, right? And uh you sure? Like work full time and go to school full time? Hmm.
And kids. I
Yeah.
got kids.
And within a week of starting, God's like, okay, now go help that person launch his ministry. Can I tell you that the times where but I learned a long time ago the only real responsibility that I have is to be obedient to him, and I did. But wait, there's more. Like every good Ronco commercial. Wait, there's more. Wait, there's more. Right?
Awesome.
This I was at the time. My weight was I'm 5'10". My weight was I was at 235.
Okay.
And so I'm 5'10", 230, 236 to be exact. I was 236. And the biggest anchor in my life wasn't time. I just didn't have value in my time. I didn't have energy in my time.
Mm.
Where what my 60 minutes was worth probably about 26 because I didn't have the juice to do everything that God was calling me to do. That was a problem. It's a
That's a
big
problem.
problem. It took me 14 months. I learned finally because I was doing like this diet, that, trying this, trying that, trying this, trying that too. I finally took my time. And I know you're about to explode with a bunch of stuff, but
No, not at
so
all.
it took me about 14 months, and I took my time, but I was doing it with God. And I remember all the tears that I shed, grown man crying out, because what was
Mm.
happening was liberation would fill my soul every 10 pounds that I went down. Because I realized it why, and there's so many layers as far as why I had done it. The reason why I'm going back to this time, I ended up in 14 at the same time, my bench press was 135. And I was like, hey, God, my sign of health is going to be I can bench press my own weight. And when
Okay.
I can bench press my own weight, that was my marker. I wanted to gain strength and lose weight. So it wasn't just about losing weight, it was both.
Mhm.
But this it's hard on the scale because your muscle mass is denser than fat. And so it's like, I don't know if I'm losing weight. It's horrible. Okay, well then check your shirt. Is it fitting better? Anyways, long story short, I ended up at my bench was just short of 225 and I got to 185.
Yes.
And it was,
Yes. Awesome.
people, if you're listening, that was in the busiest season of my life
Victory.
ever.
Hello. Thank you very much for saying that.
In
And
the
this is what we're
busiest
talking about,
season.
rhythms of our life. Excuses. You could have made a million excuses. I'm too busy. I don't have time. I don't blah 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 blah. But you realized that you didn't have the energy. You didn't have the focus that you needed. You didn't have the brain power. You probably weren't sleeping as well as you are now, like all the things, and you decided to take care of your temple. What was the deciding factor? That's always interesting to me.
Okay,
Did you just wake up one morning and go, I cannot do this anymore?
everyone that's watching today doesn't wake up because every day they're deciding that they're going to, but they just don't
I
know
know.
what their starting point is.
I'm
So I'm
gonna
like
eat good,
everybody
and they
else.
have a
When
great breakfast, and they go to Burger King for lunch. I know.
Right, right. Like so it's like I can tell you exactly what my moment was. Call it weird or
Yes.
whatever it was, but I know what my moment
Oh.
was. I dropped my pencil and I reached down to get it, and my arm rolled over a couple of layers of belly jelly roll to get it, and I was like, "Wait, what is that?
What is
What is
under
that?"
there?
And I was like, "Wait, shouldn't that be my rib? Wait, why is my oh?" And that was it. I dropped my pencil. That was it. I
Oh,
was like, I
it's
had
those moments, though.
because you know what? Like all you do is you go buy larger clothes,
Mhm.
and because you got a bit of budget now, Shiraz, dollars are good, so just go buy yourself some. That's okay. Just throw a little bit more makeup on there. Don't worry about it. Just put some more fig leaves on Adam and Eve. Don't worry about your shame and guilt. Just cover it up with, just cover it up. Just cover it up. Just cover it up because you know what?
Yeah.
It's easy in North American society. You just go, and all I was doing was robing and masking and growing though. My my girth was just big. I was like 46. I was like, come on, Shiraz size for no blazer. What? You gonna? It's like, weight waist 40 is like, huh? That was it. That was it. That was it. That was 10 years ago. Have I kept it all off for about 7 years? The last couple of years hasn't been as, but I'm
But
gonna,
you're not where you were.
I'm not where I was. I'm not.
And you know what it takes. I bet you know what it takes to get back there.
I feel like what's happened for me is I use I felt like God was saying, write this book. And
Mm.
I used obedience to God as an excuse to not walk in health. I use God as my excuse. I'm being straight, folks. If folks, I'm being honest.
I'm not
I
laughing at you.
use
I
I
love that.
go for it because it's laughable. It is. I literally use, but God, I shall write a book. And like, what? Shut up, Shakespeare. Like, what are you doing? Like, seriously, get a grip. Get a grip. And I found myself spinning in a negative downward.
Mhm.
Always, if it wasn't the book, then it was something else. If it wasn't something else, then it was something else. And it's been like that. And I'm like, okay, well, um, and then I heard this lady, Dr. Chris, talk about lifestyle versus death style. I was like, lady, why are you in my head? It's like I dropped my pencil all over again as soon as you said death style. Like, man, I stop dropping pencils, man. You dropped my pencil. And
You're
I'm
welcome.
I feel like I feel it. I feel that swing again, but I also feel that God is shedding more layers. It wasn't just the layers of fat that shed off of me. It was
Yeah,
the
it's
deliverance that filled my soul because the fat was just an excuse to hide other things that were going on. I don't want to take us off focus, but that's kind of where your purpose is going to get buried. It's also kind of where your passion will get
same.
buried and it will snuff out your pursuit. Listen, if you want to pursue your purpose, it's going to take energy. You want
It
energy?
does.
You want energy? You want energy? What are you and how are you? Let's go. And that's where there's a lot of layers, right? A lot. I apologize, folks. I'm talking way too much, but this is who I am. I
No,
talk a
you're
lot,
so not
talk a
talking.
lot.
That's why I'm that is what my podcast is all about. Is they get tired of hearing from me. I'm in their face all the time with lots of love and grace, but I am in their face all the time. And so if somebody else can come on and do my job for me, that's hey. That's how we roll. That is how we roll. I love that. And I love that. Thank you for sharing your story because I think that helps people understand that in our busy seasons, like we still somehow are able to brush our teeth every morning,
Hmm. Okay.
right? Every morning, most mornings, unless you're sitting on Zoom all day, you shower, right? Like we figure out how to do all of those necessary things. Get our cup of coffee because I don't know, I got to have that in the morning. But we don't somehow make that non-negotiable to plan our meals, that it's non-negotiable that I walk or go to the gym or ride my bike or move my
Okay.
body 30
Okay.
minimum of 30 minutes a day. Like those are for me in my life and everybody knows and I'm not bragging. This is not about that. This is about the fact that if I don't, I'm a nut job. Like I'm crazy. So, and I don't sleep well. So then I'm crazier, right? So, like eating good, getting to the gym or moving, running. People know I'm a runner with my dog. Um, like those are non-negotiable things like brushing my teeth.
Forgive me, I forget who the author is. He wrote a book called Atomic Habits. James
Oh
Clear.
yeah,
Yeah, he wrote a book,
the
great
same.
book.
Match them
And
up together.
yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that he says is you're on the winning side when you fall in love with the right habits. My daughter took a 8-hour train ride back from Ottawa, where she's at school. It's a city, it's the capital of Canada. A few folks don't know, but it's capital city of Canada. And she took a train back, and then it was delayed for a couple of hours. So from the time that she left her home, to get to our place, it was about 9 hours. Long day.
Oh my
And
God.
she had a social engagement last night, so she was out. She got home late, and this morning, the main thing that she wanted to do was get to the gym,
Yeah.
because it's what she's doing.
Yes,
And
she
I'm
does.
looking at her like, no, kiddo, guess what I tried to do? I tried to disable her. I was like, no, no, kiddo, it's okay. You've had a long day. Because it's my baby. I want to take care of my baby. Right? Like, now she's not a baby,
Such
she's
a sweet dad.
21. Right, right. Like I like, hey, look, I'm just gonna make you good breakfast. Just like relax. She's looking at like, Dad, I know how to make breakfast. I know, but you're home. It's okay. And I found myself loving her out of her discipline. I- And I caught it right away, thankfully. Uh, Look, there's people in your life that mean well, but it isn't gonna end up well. So the
Right.
ones that create comfort for you and help you to nest, they might not have your best in mind, your best. It might be because they are nesting and they are resting, and they're trying to keep you comfortable the way that they are. And I'm not slagging anybody in your life. If you're listening today, that's not what it is. They mean well. But will it be said, well done in the end? And sometimes the
Right.
people closest to you, it's not that they don't mean well, but you got to do better. When we,
Yeah, absolutely. We overlove our children for sure. I do. I do too. And my 18-year-old is definitely that same kind of like go to the gym. He's my baseball player. And no, he doesn't want me to tell him what's in the refrigerator. The other day, and I'm sure like, hey, he's in there, he's getting ready to make himself some food, and I go and I open the fridge and I tell him exactly what's in there. And he's like, Mom, I'm gonna call you from college and you're gonna have to come to my dorm room and open my fridge to tell me what's in there. Boom, boom. Okay, I'm sorry. Right? We try and overlove our children. Yeah, I get it. I get it. So did she go to the gym?
took my wife. Yeah,
Yeah.
which was and that's the other side of the equation here, is when you're be around people who are doing what you want to really be. So
Yes.
who are you surrounded by right now? Who are you around? It matters. It makes a difference. And if you're around the right people, hey,
Magic 5.
right, right. But are you literally around people who are doing the things? So as I mentioned earlier, I have the opportunity to speak in a lot of different places, and people seem to enjoy the call of God on my life, and they benefit from it. Okay, great. And so people want to be around me a lot. It's nothing to do with me. First of all, they're recognizing His anointing on my life, so they want a piece of it. Okay, great. And then secondly, everybody wants to be around the person with the mic in their hand. So you get a little bit more attention, whether you're a worship leader, you're a conference speaker, whether you're a motivation pastor, preacher, everyone wants a piece of the guy or the lady who has the mic in their hand. It's just this thing, right? So I get it. So it doesn't
Happens.
feed my ego at all. And if I were to eat that up and start being around everyone,
Mm.
like your son, uh, as he progresses in his development in his career from a baseball perspective, and ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know, she's got a praying mama that he's praying them right onto the San Diego Padres or the Toronto Blue Jays. Okay, the Padres or the Blue Jays, take your pick. Okay, Padres or Blue Jays, just pray it in, right? And if he comes here, I'll take care of him up here. But the
Okay.
point is, right, uh, uh, if he starts hanging out, like he's probably hanging out with other athletes. He's probably
Yeah.
hanging out with his teammates on a regular. He's probably not hanging because he sees where he's going,
Mhm.
and he's participating in their process of prosperity as well. I
That's
didn't even know
right.
where that
And
was coming from.
no, that's all, but it's all true. And it's the same thing with hanging out with people who like to eat well. And back to your atomic habits comment, when we pair current habits with things that we want to become new habits, that's how we can easily create a positive feed forward cycle for ourselves. We get up in the morning, we floss before we brush when we're trying to learn to floss our teeth, because you do that first and then you pair it with something that you're already good at doing. And then for me, it's walk the dogs real quick, grab my cup of coffee and my Bible,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
Coffee and Bible go together always. And
Okay.
then that habit is established. And then it's
Okay.
time to walk the dog and time for me to go to the gym. And all of those habits are just like boom, 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 boom. And we start early around here and we go to bed early, but that's what works in my life. And
That's
that's
fantastic.
what we have to, like, for y'all out there, figure out what's going to work for you. If you go to the gym at night, awesome. I could not even imagine trying to work out at night. I need to be at my best in the morning. And by this time of day, like 7, 8 o'clock at night, oh no, we are winding down. So except for today, because this is way too fun. But yeah, that's how you can start to create a new rhythm in your life. And for you, getting back to some of those rhythms that you want. And I say getting back, but really it's like creating anew, because you're in a new season. Like, where does it fit for you? How does it fit in to your new season? And how does it fit in for your season with the Christian Business Harvest Network? Because you're in front of a lot of leaders all the time. And how do you lead them the best way that you can lead them in
Yeah.
finding
So
that new rhythm for your life?
March 2020, all of us, all of our rhythms were destroyed. Just
Somewhat.
explosion,
Mine got
atomic
better.
habits, atomic explosions. Like, it happened for everyone, and I think we all have our share of amazing stories. A friend of mine, a close friend of mine, mortgage broker, and when the market stopped, so did his paychecks. When you're 100% commission
Same.
based, 100% commission based, right? Like 100%,
Only
and now
work
all
for
of a sudden,
myself. Same.
wait, wait, no, because nobody knew anything. So everyone's like, okay, I can't do anything because I don't know anything. So I don't know anything. I can't do anything. So everyone just kind of stopped. And he called me and said, Shiraz, it's been a few weeks, man. Like, things are getting dry. We prayed. We prayed with and over the next 4 weeks, he made more money in the next 4 weeks than he had made in any 4 week period in his entire 10-year career. And on
Crazy.
that fifth week, so we were in the habit of praying on the phone, but on Thursday nights we would jump on a Zoom call just to actually hang out. Because I'm not sure how it was in the States, but in Canada it was like, hey,
Mhm.
no movement, you can't visit people, and
Yeah, it's the same.
I won't get
Depending
into
on
all,
what state you
yeah,
lived on, but yeah.
yeah, and I won't get into all that
No
stuff. I think we
politics.
all have yeah, yeah, won't get into all that. But um, uh, I get on and he has three of his friends on the call, and he's saying, "Yeah, this is my friend Shiraz, the one I was telling you about. He's this one I was telling you about." And one of them said this to me. He said, "Hey, can you pray for me too?" And I was so offended. I, I couldn't take it out on them. Like, I understand where they were coming from, but I was so upset. I was like, folks, I don't have no snake oil. I don't have secret
Oh, come on.
sauce.
We know you
I am
do.
not the answer. But what I can do, I promise you, if you show up next Thursday, I'll walk you through the scriptures that I prayed over, Les, and I can show you how to effectively pray
Mm,
over yourself. And let's go from there. These are Christians, right? But I was like, hey, I can
right.
only show you what I prayed and how I prayed with him so you can go find your own fish. But I'm not the answer. He is. So let's get this right. And that birth, what we do is what is known now as the Christian Business Harvest Network. And
Oh my
so
gosh. I
through
love that
that,
story.
every Thursday now, a bunch of people jump on a call, whether you're a business owner or career minded, and we're saying, hey, if you're going to spend majority of your waking hours at work, then why don't you be the best employee that that company has ever seen? The concept here isn't evangelize at work. The concept here is if you're the best, people are going to come to you
Exactly.
flat out. If you're the best salesperson, if you're the best engineer, if you're the best accountant,
Just
if
shine your
you're the
light.
ones That's it. And you don't even have to evangelize and say, hey, come to me at church. No, just come to my desk. And so I would have this happen to me all the time in the different places that I've led sales organizations. People would come up to me and be like, hey, how do you do it? How do you do it? How do you get such results? We've never had, like, I've had record-setting sales numbers in every organization that I've ever led. People ask, how do you, this is always my response, flat out. And I say it with such a straight face. God really likes me. And it elicits two responses. Two responses. Uh Run and hide. Like, oh, okay, this guy is one of those. Okay, I'm out of here. Or the other response is, what do you mean? I tell you what, tomorrow coffee's on me. Why don't we just go hang out? There's a Starbucks around the corner from one of the offices. It's like, hey, let's just go for coffee tomorrow. I'll hang out. I can share with you what I mean and how you can also experience the fullness of what you want at work as well. That is the heartbeat of CBHN. It is not about evangelizing, is let your light so shine in a way that people
Yes.
want to be like you. Because there's something about you that
Yes.
smells good, tastes good. Like there's something about you that looks good. There's something about you that gets good results. And that in it itself will be attractive. And then people are going to want to know how you do it, and then you can share. That's kind of
Um,
what we do at CBHN.
that's awesome. So our conversation has been all over the place, and that's exactly what I wanted. It's been awesome. What parting words for people? So my audience does tend to be people like me who are seeking help, want to have a positive, want to have some positive input in their life, which you have definitely put out there. What you know what's really on your soul that you want to finish up with here?
I like to have fun. All right. I enjoy life.
Okay, let's have fun.
I do. So if we get so serious, then there's gonna be like we're gonna falter. I feel like God chuckles and giggles all the time, especially with when he
Yes.
sees all the mess that I make all the time.
Oh, please.
So are you okay if we play a little game?
Yeah, let's have some
Yeah.
fun and let's
Yeah.
yes, that's great.
And you may have already done this, folks. You may have done this as well before, but I'm going to do
Let's
this. One
put
of the
the
smartest people
host
that I know, Dr. Chris, one of the smartest people I know. Let's see what happens. This is what I would like for you to do, young lady. I would like for you to very quickly and consecutively say the word, right? Spot. Say the word
spot.
spot 10 times. Okay. And when you get to just count it off. When I see your 10th figure in
Okay.
the air, I'm going to answer your question. When I ask you a question, you have to answer it immediately. Okay.
Okay. All
And
right.
you can start whenever you're ready.
Spot, spot, spot,
Faster.
spot, 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 spot.
What do you do when you come to a green light?
Stop.
Forgive her, ladies and gentlemen. It's late. This is normally her bedtime. This is normally her bedtime. But folks,
That's hilarious.
when God has given us green lights, sometimes we don't even
That's when we
know.
stop. Wait, no, that was hilarious.
When God gives us green lights, sometimes we're so used to we're so used to a form of godliness, but not the fullness of
Mhm.
godliness, that we're willing to settle for less than what God has
Yeah,
really called you to live in. And you know in your heart that there's something more to explore in your core. You know that there's something left untapped. Not about potential, but your capacity isn't full because you know there's places and spaces
so
that
much
God
more.
has called you to possess. And if we've been trained for losses, if we've been trained, there's a spot, and then all of a sudden we interpret that as stop. Obviously, I was having fun with Dr. Chris, was just playing a game there, right? But like it in what are you gonna do? Stop, think, press reset on all those areas in your life that may have slowed you down in the past. But here we are, giving you the opportunity and an invitation to pursue you. The book, Passionate Pursuit of Purpose. But you know the purpose at the end of the day, what it's really all about? It's about you being you, who you really feel God has called you to be. And there's an opportunity for you on a daily basis to let the world experience your brand, but will you take a stand? and it's your turn. It's your opportunity. Thank you, Dr. Chris, for inviting me on
Oh my
this
gosh,
conversation and
Shiraz,
hanging out.
that was beautiful. I am not going to say a thing. Thank you so much for being here today. I so appreciate all the time you've given us, and I know that your time is valuable. And so, all right, y'all, this was amazing. Please share it on your social. And I love you, and I will be back soon. Love you. Bless y'all.